as Chancellor of Germany, she may move into European government at the superstate level. So it's all interesting to see where it's all going to go from here for sure.
Now, does the media have the same role in these elections as they do in the West? Total leftist, total globalism to try to keep the people from voting nationalist and for their own state sovereignty?
Absolutely. The media is just as bad here as it is in the U.S., in some cases worse. They take all of these movements, for instance, the Brexit Party, which I would consider a mainstream conservative party, the actual conservative party there, the Tories. They are not faring well at all. Obviously, we just saw the prime minister just step down, and their support is just plummeted at one of the lowest it's been in decades, because I don't think that they're an actual conservative party. They're not conserving anything in Britain. Of course, Britain is going by the wayside. The Brexit Party would be considered at this point just an anti-globalist party. There's all sorts of all shapes and colors of people running as Brexit candidates. But of course, they get smeared as far right, and you see that happening across Europe. And I think people are starting to become immune to that label. They see that and they just roll their eyes. The only people that really buy that now are just they're lost anyways. So the media has not done itself any service in Europe. If you want to know what it's like, just picture how much fools of themselves CNN has made it of themselves in recent years, and you can imagine how people are feeling about their particular outlets across the countries in Europe.
Do you agree with my analysis? The reason why the EU cannot have the Brexit happen is they realize if the Brexit happens, that's the first domino to fall, and then other countries are going to want to get out. I think if Brexit happens, the EU is done. Do you agree?
I think absolutely that would be pulling out of at this point.
Well, it was literally Hitler's brainchild was the EU, so it's kind of ironic that that's where we're at here. But yeah, Jean-Claude Juncker says you're stupid if you're a nationalist. So he's literally insulting people if they love their country. But that's like a weird trend now, Dan. I mean, you see it from journalists in the West that hate America. You see it about, in fact, there was, I believe it was a Russian diplomat or someone just received an award, and she gave a speech, and she was like, yeah, I really love Russia. And the media attacked her like, oh, yeah, you love authoritarian Russia. You love corruption. You're a statist. And it's just like, no, she's just saying she loves her country. She loves representing the country. She's going to work hard for Russia. These people want everybody to hate their country. It's very strange that they think globalism is the answer for all of their shortcomings. Dan Lyman from Europe Wars with us. Don't go anywhere.
The United States has been the apple of the world's eye for 244 years because our electoral system fused ancient Roman, ancient Greek, ancient Judaic law, ancient British common law systems from the Iroquois Federation in the Northwest into Canada. That is the system. It had checks and balances. It didn't allow for dictators. It didn't allow for too much concentration of power. And what were you going to do if the north of the United States had 3 times the population of the South? But that geographically, the South was much larger. You didn't want to have the majority of the North be able to set all the laws for the South because you'd just be replacing King George III with Northern voters. It's called the tyranny of the majority. In a classic democracy, if 51% vote to kill you, it happens. Actually, in ancient Greece, when they had original pure democracy in one particular city-state, they had black stones for no, white stones for yes. And only the gentry and elite could vote, but it was a pure democracy. And if they didn't like what you said, there was no judge or jury. There was the people's jury. And they would put rocks in the bucket saying, kill you, and you would be thrown off a cliff or given hemlock. And most of the famous philosophers actually were ordered to kill themselves. That was, of course, Athens. You might want to look into pure democracy. 51% said, kill somebody, you are double dead. Now, we have a constitutional republic or a liberal democracy. So imagine you're somebody in Wyoming. You only get 3 members of the House of Representatives. California, how many do they have? 50-something? It's an incredible number. Look it up. I forget. The point is that Wyoming gets 2 senators, and so does California. It's a beautiful check and balance. So see, in the House, you get represented by population, but there's a check and a balance in case things get out of control in the House. Then there's a power of veto by the fact that your rural state still has those two senators. And previous to the 17th Amendment from 1913, the same day we got the Federal Reserve, same day we got the IRS, our new system, they took the senators away. The senators weren't just a check on the House, they were a check on the executive. Senators were from the state, so that you have 50 states in a confederation, 13 states at that time, and they foresaw a civil war if you could have the tyranny of the majority vote away the rights of others. And that kind of still happened with the Civil War that came up in the 1860s. So our system isn't perfect. And so you don't want 2 or 3 states in a popular vote being able to presidentially outvote everybody else. But getting rid of the Electoral College goes far beyond that. It completes what the globalists tried to do in 1913 with the Federal Reserve and the 17th Amendment, where senators used to be elected by the House or the legislature in their state. I'm going to explain that again. They would have votes in the state legislatures over who their senator was they were going to send, so that it was a federal office, but it was a creature of the state, giving the state direct veto power into the Senate in case those senators got bought off. So checks and balances inside checks and balances, the world envy of the planet. The closest to perfection you're going to find. No one has denied it. Easy to rig parliamentary systems, easy to rig other systems, very hard to rig this one. And that's why they want to get rid of it, ladies and gentlemen. And they're very close. They're very close. They've gotten most of the blue wall states to pass it. And then we'll have the tyranny, just like in science fiction, movies out there where you've got the different districts and the one big powerful district, like in Hunger Games, rules all the others because it has the big population.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
This is an info war, folks. Let me tell you something right now. If you've got excuses in life, you're probably a loser. Okay? I don't want excuses anymore. I want victory. Okay? Now, luckily, this audience is full of winners. This staff is full of winners. Just look at what Dan Lyman has done with Europe Wars. Look at the great work. Listen to the last segment with Dan. You're not going to get this kind of coverage anywhere else. Thank God for your support at InfoWarsStore.com. We would not be here without you. And we've got a bunch of Info Warriors in town this weekend because we take action, the InfoWars Army. And I want to apologize because I know you guys are blowing me up pretty much nonstop. You're trying to use Infocoms to organize and to get in touch with people for the protest coming up at Planned Parenthood here on Sunday. But Infocoms is down. I don't know if or when it'll be back up, so I apologize for that. But we will be out there on Sunday, Planned Parenthood in Austin, Texas, 7th Street at noon. I'm giving a speech at 2. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you all out there. Sorry you can't communicate on Infocoms. It's down. We deal with a lot of sabotage here, people trying to take our servers, shutting us down. Obviously, the censorship. So I apologize that that's going on. I wish it wasn't the case, but we will be out there Sunday. So this is not a sign that we're not going to be there. This is not a sign that we're canceling the event or anything. We're just dealing with some tech issues. And, so I don't know if Infocoms will be up, but we're still going to be out there. So the people asking me, hey, are you still going out there Sunday? I can't see anything on Infocoms. We are still going out there. We're just dealing with some technical issues. And so I get your messages about the videos not working. We get all your messages. We're trying our best here, folks. You can just imagine the type of sabotage that we have to endure. Now, Dan Lyman, it's really incredible here because globalism has been exposed, and that was its real Achilles heel. Globalism had to be brought on in the shadows because as soon as people learned about it, they didn't want it. As soon as you have Jean-Claude Juncker saying, you're stupid if you're a nationalist, people started raising their eyebrow. As soon as you had people saying you're a bigot if you're a nationalist, people started scratching their heads. So Globalism has been completely unmasked. The media is trying to keep the mask on and tell you that nationalism is the enemy. I don't see it working right now, Dan. I think that Europe is going the way of the Brexit. They're going to do everything they can to stop it, but they won't be able to. I think we're starting to see, I would say, what would you give it? If Brexit happens, I think the EU has less than 20 years, probably. What do you think?
I think that's certainly a fair assessment. It's so kind of unprecedented, this whole situation, as to how it will pan out. But you know, I mean, it could happen quickly. The USSR fell pretty quickly when it looked pretty strong just a few years before. So we will see how things do pan out in that regard. But I think 20 years is definitely a very safe prediction. And as you were saying about globalism in general, that it's been masked, and even the term globalist 5 years ago, when I would use that term with normal friends, they would have no idea what I was talking about. It sounded like some crazy code word that, you know, some crazy Illuminati code word. And now, I mean, the word is used openly in mainstream publications by the president of the United States, and even by you know, politicians around the world in the media. So that is out in the open, and that agenda is out in the open. And I kind of want to touch a couple of stories here that give people an idea of what's going on the ground that is influencing the way people feel, because the number one issue facing Europe, and the voters will say this in general, is migration and the effects of it, illegal migration in particular. And then, of course, terrorism is a concern. In some of the countries, economics are a big concern as well. So like in Greece and Italy and Portugal, especially with the younger folks, they don't see a lot of opportunity for themselves economically. But the thread that runs throughout Europe is migration and the related issues. And so just a couple of these stories that you probably won't hear about, but this is what's going on in Europe and in the individual countries. People are paying attention to this stuff, and it's influencing votes for sure. So just a few minutes ago, earlier today, a bomb just went off in Lyon, France. They're still getting information about that, but it's a parcel bomb. They're calling it an attack, and at least 8 people were injured, including a child. So that's just like one little snapshot of what happened in France today, right before they go to the polls. So you know that's going to influence a few people in Lyon when they head to the polls, maybe nationwide. That's one example. Another example is that in the Netherlands, the migration minister just had to resign in the middle of a scandal because it was uncovered that the immigration ministry was hiding details about crimes being committed by migrants, and that was unearthed actually by De Telegraaf, which is a mainstream publication. They discovered that the figures that were being put out were masking really heinous crimes such as rape, murder, child abuse, child sexual abuse by migrants. And this all came out just a couple days ago, and the migration minister had to step down. That has rocked Dutch politics this week, right before they headed to the polls. So, of course, that's going to affect some votes. Another thing that happened is in Belgium. We've covered this. We've talked about this. One of the main train stations there, the transit stations, has been overrun with migrants, and it's this testament to what migration is doing to the globalist stronghold, which is Brussels. Now, things got so bad, as you and I discussed a couple weeks ago, that the bus drivers stopping at this station, and it came out that some of the cleaning staff were getting vaccines for hepatitis, and things were so bad there. Things looked so bad just days before the election that they made a big deal about clearing all of the migrants out of this park. So they're trying to clean up their image right before the vote, so that when Brussels people are riding on the trains and they pass through the station, they don't see this testament to globalism with just migrants laying all over the place. Now, what has come out since then is that it's just a temporary fix. A lot of the migrants have just moved over to this park, Maximilian Park nearby, where hundreds of them loiter during the day. And right now they're sleeping there. They're not welcome in the station. But police are saying, just wait until a few days after the election. They'll all be allowed back in. So these are things that people are seeing in their everyday lives.
Now, hold on a second. This is actually amazing. Who is making this order? Because you're now saying that the police are essentially engaged in a political cover-up.
Well, there are police officers who have spoken, and a chief inspector in Brussels who have spoken.
Well, yeah, I'm not blaming the individual policemen. I'm saying that they're getting orders to engage in a political cover-up.
Yes, absolutely. And this is just a little Band-Aid right before the election, just to keep people, tided over and say, oh, we're making it, we're making things better and we'll solve this all. And that doesn't look like what's happening. And I think people, if they see that and they know what's going on just in Brussels, for instance, they're going to say, these people are not serious about solving the issues. We have in Germany, Merkel has said migration must continue. We must continue to accept more. Sweden is saying the same thing. We must continue to accept more. The backlash is coming this weekend. Maybe it's not the final straw for some of these countries, but it's definitely, the tide is turning.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And again, this is why they're trying to stop Brexit with everything they got. Because I'm telling you, folks, if Brexit happens, every other country is going to be looking at it and saying, wow, well, we don't want to be involved in this either. This doesn't help our country. All right, Dan Lyman, if you can't stick around for another segment, I'd like to get into the social media censorship with you, if you can do another segment with us. But just amazing coverage from Dan Lyman at EuropeWars.com, folks. Just great stuff.
I didn't go to college for marketing. I don't sit around and have traditional marketing meetings. I go with my gut and how I want to be treated. So I do market research. What's already the highest rated? What already is the best selling? And then we go look at it, we make it better, and sell it for a lower price. Viewers and listeners understand my philosophy, and you've responded. We have a very large, successful supplement company because the quality is amazing and because of your support. But looking into this a few years ago, I was like, I forget to take supplements myself, and our listeners forget. How do I get myself and others to remember to take it? And my crew, who was just getting into marketing, goes, it's funny you say that, boss. Everything for 20 years, and now more than ever, is packs. 1 pack a day, 2 packs a day, 3 packs a day. So it's all there. You don't forget. It's on a bunch of bottles. You put it in your pocket. You put it in your purse. You put it in your wallet. You put it in your car, your truck. It's ready. That's the 8-pack Power Stack. And out of the gates, we're offering it at 50% off. Very close to what it costs us to make. There is a lot of money in this. These are all the very best. And 13 pills, 8 new formulas. It's amazing. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. 50% off because I want you to get it. I want you to see how great it is. And then I want you to sign up for auto shipping so you need to get it. 50% off. The AM Wake Up and Work pack includes a flex and joint support formula, an energy kickstart formula, a krill oil formula, a nootropic brain formula, and a greens detox formula. All those work together synergistically. The PM Rest and Recover packet includes immune support formula, sound sleep formula, krill oil formula, that's good day and night, and bone support formula. Ladies and gentlemen, comparable packs that aren't even as good are retail $125. This is retail up there like $100. It is right now, ladies and gentlemen, 50% off. A major gamble for us because I believe you're going to reorder it close to the regular price and support the InfoWar after. This is total health and performance. I treat my body like hell. I work 18 hours a day many days. I take on the weight of the world. I focus on the injustice, and I face the enemy, and I fight them at every level. And there's no way without the supplements from InfoWarsLife.com I could do it. And now we have, of all our products that are amazing, the ultimate new formula, the 8-pack Power Stack at InfoWarsStore.com. Total health and performance. I just want to encourage you to realize that 50% off, this is unprecedented, and your support is critical. In a world of phonies, folks, InfoWars is real. In a world of fraud, we're 100% committed religiously to telling you the truth. Because metaphysically, I am tied to the truth, and I am tied to your success. You are tied to mine. You need to get the 8-pack Power Stack today at InfoWarsStore.com. You need to fund the InfoWar into the future. Now the choice is up to you. Total and performance in 2 different packets, AM and PM. This is the 8-pack Power Stack Daily Care System. These are the very best 13 capsules, 8 new formulas that we could bring you that just does things for every part of your body, every part of your system. We looked at the best-selling products out there, and we made it even better, and we lowered the price.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. You want to stop tyranny? Well, so does he. It's Alex Jones. And now, your host, Owen Schroyer.
You know, I forgot to ask Dan Lyman. Hey, Dan, have you taken your honk pill today?
Oh, I overload on those every day. It's